Hey everyone, it's Hannah here from the Eye Opener Society. I want to welcome you all. You have Gary here as well.
Hey everyone.
Yeah. Welcome back. Just wanted to okay,
You're stumbling already.
I'm stumbling
That's
already.
okay,
I did
buddy.
my best.
She did her best, people. Hey, listen, if you've been listening to the show long enough, you know Hannah suffers from crippling anxiety. She wanted to start the show off. She did all right, but then, things got a little bit overwhelming, but we appreciate your support. All right. You're listening to the Eye Opener Society. Me, Gary, and my wonderful, absolutely tremendous partner, Hannah.
I tried.
Yeah, she tried.
I just looked at him and I was like,
yeah, but she's actually started a show tonight because tonight is her topics and she'll be doing a show. And once she gets into her groove, she does fantastic. Before we start the show, I want to let everybody know if you want to see anything about us, our shows, a little synopsis about who we are, go to eyeopenersociety.podbean.com. Podbean is our host site, and they give us the website. So eyeopenersociety.podbean.com. Listen, if you go up on the top, if you're on your laptops, you'll see our sponsorships there. Not paid sponsorships, but we do have a program that if you buy anything from them, we get a little bit of a kickback, a little bit. It's enough to help us out, okay? Or if you're on your cell phone, hit the little menu button and it'll come up, all right, for their links. We are working with Reaper Apparel at reaperapparelco.com. Great merchandise there. And we work with Bear Blend, especially if you're into smoking herb. Some of the most purest organic stuff you could get. 21 and over, please. And we're also working with a brand new one, Red Devil Clothing. Love Red Devil Clothing. You got that real West Side kind of style going on, cars and just that real, it's just cool stuff, man. Go check out Red Devil Clothing too as well. And if you use EOS 15, you get 15% off at Red Devil. So check out those links. So welcome to the Eye Opener Society.
Yeah.
Hannah's got a show for us tonight. And I think she's ready. Yeah. What do you think? Go for it.
I'm good. So I hope every one of our lady listeners, not even just lady listeners, but yesterday was Mother's Day. If you're listening to this on May 13th, of course. So happy belated Mother's Day to all the mamas out there, or, even the single dads. You deserve to be celebrated on Mother's Day too. So for Mother's Day, I thought it was a great idea. I've wanted to do one of these shows for a while. I kind of wanted to bring up parenthood and, how raw it is and what it means to me to be a mom and, how I got through my postpartum journey. And I gave Gary the idea earlier in the month. But tonight, right before we hopped on, I was like, and I wanted you to bring up, becoming a stepfather and, how it felt for him to, get into a relationship with my mom when she had 3 somewhat grown girls. So yeah, I wanted to bring this show tonight. So I wanted to first, I guess, to kind of get it out of the way. I can't promise that I'm not going to get emotional. But to talk about me, I know I've mentioned this on the show before. I suffer from infertility, and I had trouble, of course, conceiving my child. I went through 3 years of infertility treatments, as far as, time conception, IUIs, and then moved on to IVF. I unfortunately had went through a failed attempt at first, and my embryo stopped growing. And then I had another one, and I always mention this to everybody. But my second transfer, which brought me my wonderful, lovely 2-year-old spunky boy, his transfer was actually on Earth Day. And I am always, saying that the universe gives you so much more than you realize. And, I'm always a promoter to get outside, whatever the weather is. But I truly believe that of course, the science helped with IVF, but I truly believe, the universe and everything brought me my son. So my little Earth Day baby, that's what I call him. But as far as postpartum went for me, I struggled really bad. after having my son, I had this miracle baby that I took over 100 needles for. I held in my belly for 41 weeks exactly. He had to get kicked out. He didn't want to come out. I had emergency C-section. I was in labor for so long. And I was so out of body for the probably first like 6 months of my child's life that if you ask me questions, I really have to kick myself in the ass for me to like unlock that those moments in my brain because I felt like I was so out of body and I was drowning. And when I brought my son home, I was like, I felt I felt like so alive and so blessed, but at the same time, it was like you were at an event and you were like, okay, when are things going to get back to normal again? And I think that's really hard for me to admit. And I've never really talked about that before, but it was just like I went from sleeping and regularly and eating regularly and bathing regularly to not. And I was like, when the hell is this going to like when am I going to be back to normal? Like when is this going to stop? And you know, with me parenting um for me, let me backtrack really quick. Sorry. For me, I almost felt I kept it all in because I felt so ashamed because, like I said, I went through 3 years of this infertility treatment. I had, people donate money towards me because my insurance didn't, cover things. And I had so many people support me and I went through this and this is the one thing I wanted to do in my life. Like I've always wanted to be a mom. Ever since I remembered from a little girl, I've always wanted to be a mom. And I love being a mom. But like I got home and I was like, I can't talk about this to anybody because they're not going to understand. They're going to think I'm selfish. They're going to think I'm horrible. They're going to think I'm a terrible mother because I am hating my life right now. Like I love my child, but I hate my life at the same time. Um, it was so bad that I couldn't breastfeed. And that was like one things I wanted to do for my child. I couldn't do it because I was so out of my out of my swing of things that like if I tried to do that, like I was just getting horrible, intrusive, suicidal thoughts. So I like went against that. And then it was like I was beating myself up even more because I wasn't providing for my child like I wanted to. And then my postpartum, it just got so bad where it was like, once things started to get easier, it was like I was so happy. I was getting the swing of things. I was being the best mom I could be. And then it was just like moments where I would just sit there and sob and sob and sob. But I didn't want to sob to other people because I didn't think people would understand that I had this postpartum depression and I had this postpartum anxiety and I have this birth trauma because I just felt like people were going to look at me like, you wanted this, like, you wanted this, you tried for this, you spent money on this. And again, I just felt so alone in those moments because I didn't want people to be ashamed of or disappointed in me. So I went through a lot of that alone. I didn't want to share it with family. My spouse didn't understand. And it got to the point where I ended up having to go, to my doctors and I was like, I need medication because it was so bad to the point where I was like, I was having these intrusive thoughts of just like flying myself down a flight of stairs. I was like, I love my child. I don't want to leave my child, but this postpartum and these intrusive thoughts are so powerful. I was like, I would just like find myself just staring at the stairs. And then I'd be like, okay, no, my kid needs me, you know? So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, I went through that and it was like on top of my already anxiety and like depression and OCD I already had. It was like on crack. Like that's the easiest way for me to say it. It was like, and I was so ashamed that I was going through this and feeling these things. So I just bottled it in And I think like the reason why I wanted to bring this up is that like if I have any we have any listeners out there who, have a similar situation like me, or even just like you just, have your child naturally or whatever, postpartum is so much more common than you think, and anxiety and your horrible thoughts and your feelings are so valid, and don't feel ashamed of them. Um, my son is 2 years old now. I tell Gary all the time that I love my kid, but sometimes I want to punch him in the face. Um, and I will never punch my kid in the face, and I tell him too, it's just like sometimes I get so overwhelmed that I feel bad for being overwhelmed because he's my son. He's the love of my life. He's my best friend. Um, he's the most important person in my entire world. But sometimes it's just like, I just need a break. And I struggled this for a while. Gary has seen me cry multiple moments where I just feel I need a break. And I feel so bad for wanting a break and needing a break. But that's what makes you human. You can only take care of your child if you can take care of yourself. And I think I'm still learning that. My child is 2. He is very 100% dependent on me. Maybe not 100%. My kid's pretty big. He feeds himself for the most part now, but I'm his provider. Um, I'm so blessed to have my mom. She's the best mom, bringing it up on Mother's Day. She's honestly the best mom. Like I could get so emotional over this. I trust my mom with my heart 110%. There's no other person that I trust my child with than my mom. And my mom, she watches my son for me while I work. She makes it possible for me to be able to provide for my child. And she helps me when I'm frustrated. She helps me when I can't get my child to settle down. And, I just hope one day that I am as half of a mom as my mom is. Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
She just means the world to me, and I just hope that I'm up to that par. She always used to say to me that she's sorry and she wishes that she could have been a better mom, but she has no idea that um she is my idol and I love her very much, and I'm so grateful for her and everything that she does for me. Um and I strive to be the mom that she was to me. Especially coming from a mom who took care of me solely with another parent who had nothing to do with me. My mom, she's the most amazing person ever. And I know I'm being repetitive, but um, I strive to be her, and I'm so grateful for her. Um, but to go back, sorry. Um, whew, just being a mom for me, it is the best thing in the world, and it is the most challenging. Sometimes you look back, and I always say this, I don't miss my old life. I don't miss going out and partying and getting drunk and hanging out with fake friends and fake people and blowing my money. Um, but it is the most challenging thing I've ever done. It's like when you just want silence, and you have to get used to the whining when you want to watch your show, but your kid's watching the TV, like I think being a mom to me, I just always put my child first. And it's like, it has changed my life so much for the better, where I just look at my son and look at the things that he's learned and look at how kind and how sweet he is and how smart he is. And it's just like my biggest accomplishment. And, as we discussed on the show, my anxiety and my OCD and my depression, it's like he is the light of my life. And I just look at him and I just forget everything. Like I just forget the bad days. I forget the bad clouds, and he's the light that I follow, He's my umbrella, He is truly the best thing that's ever happened to me. And, sorry, I got emotional there and I'm trying to collect my thoughts, but parenthood is so raw. And I think a lot of people don't realize how special it is to be a parent and how okay it is to have off days. You're not always going to be the perfect parent. And I'm still learning that myself. There's going to be days where you yell. There's going to be days where you say things that you don't mean. And there are practices and books and everything that you can read, but you're never going to be perfect. You're going to mess up, and that's okay. I always strive to be mindful of what I say to my son because once it's out of my mouth, it's there. I always hear people tell me, oh, they're young, they won't remember, but I will remember. So I strive to keep my intrusive or quick responses to myself. And, maybe I'll say, hey, Gary, can you watch him for a minute? And I'll go into the bathroom and sit on the floor and just take a like couple deep breaths because I'll remember. Even if my son doesn't remember at this moment, I will. So I strive to, break a cycle and not let any of negative I feel onto my child. But being a parent is raw. Like you go through emotions when your child goes through emotions. You have to figure out how to, deal with temper tantrums or deal with certain situations that you never thought you would come about, like with my mom and Gary, Gary was around me trying to commit suicide. Like my mom probably never thought that was going to happen. You didn't think it
I
was
had
going to
no
happen,
idea.
So it's just one of those things where being a parent, it's a learning curve. You never stop learning. You're never going to be 100% complete. You're never going to know what to do. You learn as your child learns. And I think it's like for important message for me to get out is that just be patient and be kind, not only to your children, but to yourself. And with that, I'll turn it over a little bit to Gary here.
Well, I could probably change up the entire mood of the whole thing because,
Here we go.
yeah, here we go. Because I know when you gave me a little idea what you were going to talk about, and you wanted to get my thoughts on being a stepfather and all that. Well, when it comes to me and kids, never wanted any ever.
And that's okay.
Yeah, I never wanted kids of my own. And I'll be 100% honest. Why? I'm 100% selfish.
You don't want to put other people before you.
Exactly.
And that's okay.
I don't want to raise another human being and dedicating, or putting that sort of dedication into it because I know I can't handle it. I like a life that I have freedom, and that's what I always strive for. So it's not like I haven't dated, other girls that didn't have kids. I dated. It's no big deal. It was dating. But when I met your mom, and she had mentioned she has 3 kids, and she actually has 3 beautiful, beautiful daughters. So it didn't bother me because they're her kids,
Yeah.
hands off. It's all her, she's the one in charge of them. And when I first met her, I mean, I didn't know how far, the relationship was going to go or anything.
Of course, you never know.
Yeah. So when I met you guys, you were all cool as fuck, loved it. I loved hanging out with all of you, in that same apartment when I first met your mom and all. And I enjoyed the company because all 3 of you had your own unique individual personalities. You were all old enough to where didn't have to worry about raising you, you know? And at that time too, I had no idea of all the background and what was going on, or that family structure thing. You were the one who reminded me the most of me, because you're the more of the rebellious, type, and you went through all of your things that we spoke about. But yeah, when it comes to parenting, and I know you remembered, and I know I told you guys this, I'm not going to be a father to you.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be a friend of yours, somebody you come to and hang with, just like you and I are right now.
And I think like with that, like I respected that because I never wanted a dad. Like I always tell people, like I never wanted a dad. I didn't have my dad. I didn't want a dad. I didn't want that. I didn't want someone to come in and just say like, oh, I didn't want that. I just wanted a friend. And I think with you, like it was so easy to me to trust you because I knew that you weren't trying to fill like a void that I had in my life.
Yeah. There was no way. I get it. I get it from a sense, that if it was me in that position, I wouldn't want somebody coming in and trying to say, "Hey, I'm your father now." Nah, it's not, because I'm not going to call you dad ever,
Even if
even if
there's a
there's a
fire.
fire.
Yeah.
I so I understood that, and then as things progress with your mom and I, and we knew this was going to be something serious, and I started learning more, and I was getting much more involved with everybody. And your sisters grew up quicker, obviously, because they're older, so they grew up a lot quicker, but you stuck around a little bit longer just because of your age and
God.
stuff. Yeah, I couldn't get rid of you.
Cock block.
Yeah, big time cock block. But I didn't care, because like I said, you were in your own place. I gave you that space. You were growing up, you were learning, just like I'm still doing
He did
at
put a
this
tracker on
age.
my phone.
I did put a tracker on your phone because we were worried about you, because we did care about you, and we do love you no matter what. We didn't want anything bad happening. So, yeah. So, and I know we just went through Mother's Day, and Mother's Day is nothing but a Hallmark holiday. It's designed so you could go out and spend money on cards and shit. It should be an everyday kind of thing. Mother's Day doesn't boil down to just one day out of the year.
Yeah.
You are dedicating your entire lives to being a mother. You're once a mother, always a mother. So I step out and I respect that. I respect that, though, every day. Your mom, 100% my life. The things that she given up and the position she put herself in just to make me happy, I've never experienced that sort of love from anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand what you say, how you feel, like how you want to be like that. It's big, big shoes to fill. It really is. Your mom does have something that you can't express, but you feel it. You know it as her daughter. I know it as her husband. I know it's there. But I got such an amazing person with me at all times that I'm not going to spend one day thanking her for it.
Yeah.
Screw that. That's a lifelong thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I accepted everything that your mom is, because I'm the type, I don't believe in changing anybody. You remain the same person because that's the person you fell in love with. And I would never change the fact, or want to change the fact, that she has 3 beautiful daughters. You and I were living under the same roof. So it's almost like I have a kid now, with, Caden. And
Yeah.
so I'm in that sense where I see the reasons why I never wanted to raise a kid. So hats off to you. Hats off to anybody that's raising a kid. I couldn't do it. Love the kid to death. He's amazing. I just never seen myself in that position. Never seen it,
Mm-hmm.
But living under the same roof and seeing it, and I know what you go through. Let's just say this. And I told you this. You have nothing to worry about when it comes to motherhood, because there's no
Book.
or script or anything that says, hey, this is the way you do it. Everybody's going to do it different. As long as you're touching on the key things fall into place normal, because we're human beings and it's instinctual. We learn as we grow.
Mm-hmm.
And you as a mother, you're a guide, and
Yeah.
you have a family structure, and they learn that. So you're doing nothing wrong. Does it become overwhelming? Of course. Do you think I could listen to that screaming and crying all the time and dealing with it? I couldn't. I know I couldn't. I can't even listen to your dog barking anymore. It gets that crazy. So I feel for you, and I understand why you go through that, especially when you have some, messed up wiring going on in your head as it is. It's very difficult. And by all means, you take those moments for yourself.
Yeah.
But you have nothing to worry about as far as being a mother.
Mm-hmm.
You're a perfect mother.
Yeah.
So I wish you were my mother. It sounds weird, but it's
Your mother.
Yeah, your mother. But I appreciate everything that you do.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the love that you give. I appreciate, you for being you. And if at some point in time, whether you find the right medication or things just snap into place, maybe you'll understand that. But for the time being, it's noticed.
Yeah.
All right. It's noticed by me. And I appreciate everything. I appreciate everything you do. And I got mad respect for you, But irregardless, like I said, I'm still a friend.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to ever look at me as a stepfather. You look at me
Yeah. You're my
however you
best
want.
friend.
Best friend, man. We just became best friends.
Yep.
Yep.
Karate in the garage.
Garage. But yeah, for everybody else out there that's going through these same things, listen, nothing's easy. And having a child is the most basic human thing that we do. It's,
The
everybody thinks
hardest and the most rewarding at the same time.
it is. But we've been having children since we've
Adam and Eve, man.
Adam and Eve or whoever it is you
Yeah.
believe in. And, like that's just what we do. We conceive. So it's nothing that's out of the ordinary
Yeah.
until you actually get in there and you got to start figuring things out. It gets overwhelming for all of us. And depending on the type of child, you're not only raising a child, you're raising a personality, which is being developed. And it's being developed by everything that's going on, you know?
My kid has a big one.
Yeah.
He does. He keeps us all 4 adults on our toes, on top of my animal habit. They keep us on our toes too. But my son, he's just full of personality. And some days I think all of us want to rip our hair out.
Yeah, well, I'll
rip his beard hair out or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like he just does this one small thing that just makes all the rottenness all right. And we're just like, damn, we're doing a good job, and it takes a village. But I think the most important thing is that it's okay to have a village. It's okay to not do everything on your own. And I think I have to learn that.
We all need help.
Yeah.
All the time. And you have the help. I'll never say no to you,
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
I think for me too, it's just like I'm still learning that I don't have to do everything on my own, I'm like, it's overwhelming. My kid's annoying. Like I got to do it. I got to do it. I got to do it. But I've been better, and my kid is getting older. So he does do a lot of things independently now. And, if I let my kid outside, he's a free spirit out there. He loves the outdoors, my little Earth Day baby. But it's just amazing to see him grow and, have a little bit more independency. And, I get a little bit of a break with that and just watching him. And, it makes me feel good that my kid is growing up the way I wanted him to so far.
Yeah, for sure. And it's going to get worse as time goes on.
I know.
And you always got to prepare yourself for all the big things that might happen. And so it's a dedication. It's your entire life as they're growing up. So you do the best you can with it.
Yeah.
That's it. You can't beat yourself up over things that happen because I know I wasn't a perfect kid. I never was.
I was not a perfect kid.
Nope. And I'm not even a perfect adult. I'm still a child.
I'm far from a perfect adult.
I'm the most immature person. I really am. I sit
is.
here, from my age where I should be, where everybody, I don't play that game. I am who I am.
Yeah.
And I don't play by these rules. Oh, you're older now. No, screw that. If I want to go out and get drunk, I'm going to freaking drink everybody under the table, or, I'm going to sit here and talk like a freaking perverted 12-year-old. I don't care.
Yeah.
This is my life, know? And I think that's what everybody needs to realize. We are like that. We should be like that. You feel better, instead of following all these structures and forms and things.
Yeah. Like your kid needs to be on this milestone thing and this thing. Nah. Just raise your kid for who you want them to be and, guide them, not necessarily raise them on who you want them to be. Yes, do that, but guide them and let them find their own personality. Let them choose what their own beliefs are. Just guide them. I will never force my child to believe in something that he does not want to believe. I will guide my child to make the right decisions. But if they make a bad decision, I'm not going to scold my child. I'm going to work through the bad decisions that they make so they can reflect on that and learn from them. I think with me, I'm a gentle parent. I don't spank my child. It's just, that's my practice of parenting. If you spank your child, okay. But with me, it's all about growing up, we're still learning. We learn every day. We're never stop growing. And for me, it's just I'm going to watch my child grow, and I'm going to watch my child go through ups and downs in life, and I'm going to guide them, and I'm going to help them work through. If something happens, I correct them in a proper manner that I see fit. And I'm not going to, I used to worry about those milestones. Oh, my kid's not walking yet. Oh, my kid's not crawling yet. I'm just going to let my kid grow in the way that they need to grow. If I see that my child needs a little bit of help, then I'm going to get my child that little bit of help. But I'm just going to let my kid be a kid. I think
Mm-hmm.
so many people nowadays are just not letting their kids be kids. And it hurts my heart because that's not how I was raised,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
And on that same note, I think adults need to learn how to be kids again too.
Yeah, and I think that's me too. It's just
Mm-hmm.
I do all the fun things. Carrie can attest. Again,
Yeah.
I jump on the trampoline with my kid. I run through the sprinkler with my kid. My kid goes and runs around in stores. I'm running around with him. I'm a kid with my kid.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. It makes life happier.
I don't want to have like a little structured kid. I want to have a
Right.
wild child.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have a wild child. I let my kid be free because they need to experience the world and the universe that's gifted and given to us. I want my child to feel grounded. I want my child to feel the positive energies that are in the air, and the radiated positive energies from other people. My kid is so sweet. He'll just blow kisses to like random nice old ladies. It's the sweetest thing. Like he feels the vibes and he's gifted. And I think that's one of the more like important things for me as a parent is like I just look at my child and just look at how he is and just his little personality already, and I know I'm doing something right. I'm not listening to milestones. I'm not worried about the things that this should be doing. If does he have behavior that needs corrected? Sure. But he's a kid and he's learning boundaries. And me and Gary talk about it all the time. He's just learning, and he's gonna understand no when he wants to understand no, and he's going to learn when things aren't okay, when he learns that things aren't okay. And I just have to be patient with that and guide him the best I can, and that's it for me.
Yeah. And don't forget, I'm just as bad too as an adult.
Yeah, he
I
is.
cross my boundaries every single day. So, hey, listen, that's life. That's how I live my life. So,
Hmm.
I all I can say is, listen, happy Mother's Day
Yes.
to all the mothers every day.
Hmm.
It's not just one day. So, happy Mother's Day to all of you.
Yes, and much love to everybody. Positive energy, positive vibes, everything like that. And I really hope you enjoyed the show.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any feedback or anything to add, please reach out to us, eyeopenersociety.podbean.com, or on our Facebook, look up the Eye Opener Society.
Yeah, and join us on Facebook. Please follow us if you
Yes.
haven't already. Go to facebook.com and look up Eye Opener Society. Find us, follow us, and join us for our once a month lives for a Behind the Eyes episode. So if you like this episode or you had something to add, you can actually join in on the conversation because we revisit each episode we did and we go over the topics again. So join us there. Join us on eyeopenersociety.podbean.com. Listen to us on all your favorite platforms, including Pandora. We're back on there too. So now we're on all the major platforms. And look out too for Podluminati. We'll be doing our June convention. We're doing a Zoom convention for anybody who would be interested in podcasting. And also, if you do have a podcast, small to medium size, and would like some input, some advice, we'll be running with the Josh and Paulie show, and with Twisted Tales podcast
And Roundtable.
Roundtable Mindset. We're all going to be there. We're all going to help each other out. We're going to have a lot of fun on there, and join us. Look forward to you guys tuning into our next episode. And everybody, again, have a great Mother's Day every day.